Hello, welcome to a very Helix episode of Feelings with the Geekiary. I'm Erin. I'm here with and we're fans. We have feelings. This is where we webcast about them. And it's Helix. We have special guests tonight, Dr. Peter Farragut himself, or Eli, whatever. Neil Napier, welcome to the webcast.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Peter, Eli, we don't know. We'll see.
So you can join the conversation tonight with us using the hashtag HelixFeelings. We want to know how you felt about last week's episode, the whole season 2 so far. This Friday is the season 2 finale, so we have a lot to talk about.
Lots to talk about. Some things I can't talk about, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, yes.
Disappointing.
We're a little sad about that, but
We'll try. Okay, obviously we've got the disclaimer. We would like to remind you all that the views expressed in this webcast are those of the host as the individuals and not necessarily represent the Geekiary or the webcast itself as a whole.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. It's just so that the internet doesn't get angry at us or gets angry at specific people. So just remember which.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, this Friday is the season 2 finale of Helix. What are we thinking so far? Season 2.
I'm so confused.
Well, I have some ideas.
Oh
Yes,
please. Share your ideas. What do you think is going to happen?
I can't even theorize because I know pretty exactly what's going to happen. What do you guys think?
Well, honestly, yeah, I'm even more confused this season than I was last season, and that's saying something. I love it so much, though. But I'm definitely wondering what's up with the cult baby, as Yvonne calls him. And
Does he have a name?
well,
Peter's baby?
Yeah.
Well, we've come. Erin has the theory about that one, that it's Caleb, right?
Yeah.
No, we don't know.
That's your theory, and it could be correct, but it could also be not, or the baby could disappear entirely, because that's...
Any one of those three things is possible.
I know, really, anything is possible.
Yeah,
is that when you have to be like, is this the infant baby or the jar baby?
Oh, yeah, that one
fetus?
too. The forever fetus, yeah. I'm definitely... Wasn't the... Yeah, and they didn't get off the island, so my feelings about them getting off the island, Sarah and hot Dr. Kyle and and fetus in a jar and Soren, yeah. I'm not feeling too good about them getting off the island right now. That's your fault. that's Dr. Peter Farragut's fault.
Hey, he's just following his new path.
Oh, yeah,
actually, Erin, can you ask that question from Twitter now? Because I really want to hear the answer to this before I...
Oh, yeah. So somebody asked us a question on Twitter. The person is at Evil Jungle Chick.
Evil Jungle Chick. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, okay. She asks, does Neil feel Peter's behavior is a result of biological changes from his infection in season 1, or does he believe Peter has always been unstable and current circumstances have just amplified his issues?
Oh, that's an interesting question, isn't it?
It is.
I think a little bit from each column, but mostly I think it's carrying over, whether or not it's from biological effects of being infected with Narvik and then whatever he became, the Vector King, whatever that was, or the kind of the emotional and spiritual repercussions of having that happen to him. He's been through quite a lot, right? So I don't know if there's something, if he was always messed up in terms of before we come into the story, before season 1. Do you know what I mean? But we do know that there's his family of origin with his alcoholic, abusive father, his mother who died of cancer, a contentious but loving relationship with his older brother Alan, and a lot of jealousy and second son syndrome. He's got a lot of baggage, right? And I don't think being messed up with Narvik helped any of that.
Yeah, I always wondered if that like lingered at all.
The effects from the Narvik?
Yeah. I mean, did it really just completely go away? I feel like...
Well, I don't think it did. I mean, this is my own personal feelings, and this is sort of the way I played it throughout season 2, was it couldn't have been all gone. Like, there can't be any... There's no possible way there are no effects lingering from it. There just aren't, whether it's, the emotional, spiritual damage or actually biological damage. I think it's all a little bit carried in from season 1. And that's why, I really felt, in episode 10, we have that scene in the birthing chamber, which was deeply disturbing.
Yes.
To be there. It was deeply disturbing to be in that set. It was awful, terrible. And the decisions that Peter starts making, I've always felt he just needed a nudge in the right direction. Because if we look back at season 1, am I making you feel a little ill? When we look back at season 1...
Sinuses.
When we look back at season 1, that idea of, like, in the birthing chamber when Peter slit the wrists of that young woman, I mean, part of it, I think, is a bit of a mercy killing. But we saw almost that same scene when Peter was King Vector, and he's bleeding out those people in that weird kind of dungeon scene where he slices the arms open of all these people that they've caught, and then they collect their blood, the infected blood, and rain it down on everyone else. Yeah. So these aren't, we have to remember that Peter did those things, and he has a degree of memory about it. So this is not, it's not new territory entirely for him at any rate.
Yeah,
I don't know, that was a long way to answer that question, but that's...
No, it was great.
I think that Peter definitely has got some identity issues.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, he should have been the middle child. I feel like there should be a third Farragut running around that we haven't heard about yet.
Oh, that could be.
And if there isn't, Helix, please add that in next season. Season 3, third Farragut.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
right.
forever fetus.
Peter does have some kind of middle child, lost child kind of attributes, right?
Yeah.
I hate saying I'm honestly just joking. I'm the first of 3 sisters, and I don't think my middle sister really has middle child syndrome, but I'm telling you that would be a perfect way for this show to develop, is for there to be a third Farragut.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, in terms of like family dynamics and the psychology of it, when we look at the roles that we play in our family of origin and the placement of the children, the older child is usually the caretaker. Middle children are generally the lost children, and then the babies are the mascots or the jokers.
Actually, that's
I'm the baby. I'm the baby.
Yeah, my baby sister is definitely the mascot.
Yeah, but Peter does
That's a good
kind of
way to
fit
put it.
into a middle child kind of dynamic for sure.
Well, that's going to be my new theory.
I have a question kind of going off of that. So, Neil, who would you be
Uh-oh.
Who, what?
stuck in, or Peter?
She's breaking up a little bit. What was the question,
Or
Erin?
would you rather be stuck in the... Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Who would you rather be stuck in the oubliette with for 30 years? Alan or Peter?
Peter. Peter.
Yeah.
There you go.
It might
I feel
just
like Alan would be boring after a while. Like very short.
Peter
Very short while.
Peter might mess with you a lot and stuff, but he'd be entertaining, I think. You might hate him.
He could tell you all those Narvik bedtime stories.
Stories. He'd try to manipulate you somehow. It would be like Survivor Island down there. He'd be the guy you really hate, but he might win.
Yes.
Oh, this one kind of goes along with our first question, I suppose. Vector King or Eli, which is the creepier alternative personality?
They're both creepy in very different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vector King is pretty straightforward, balls to the walls. You know what to expect, so you might be able to get out of the way. Peter's insidious. He's quiet, and he's convinced what he's doing at this point is the right thing. You know what I mean? It was interesting.
Really? I was wondering. I was wondering that.
I think so. I think he's really come to believe that what he's doing is the right thing, and it was interesting when the story started taking this turn with Peter. I started scrambling to do a little bit of research on cult mentality, cult followers, cult leaders, a little more than I had already done when we were coming into the season. It was interesting. I think it was Kira, who plays Julia, had sent me this little 6-minute TED talk by this woman who was a Moonie back in the 70s, a follower of Reverend Moon. Mm-hmm. And she had been rescued and deprogrammed. And she has since become a deprogrammer, so she helps families who rescue their loved ones from cults and deprogram them out of the cult thinking. And she was talking a little bit about the mindset of cult members, cult leaders, and I think the example she was using was Jonestown and Jim Jones in Guyana when they drank the Kool-Aid and mass suicide. And the pattern, the thought patterns and the thought process of these people comes to be that it would be immoral not to commit that act, which seems horrific. That it would be immoral not to kill all those people. Because of whatever belief system they have going on, it is supported by the idea that these people have to be saved or eliminated, whatever it is. And so thereby, the cult member feels it would be an immoral act to not do these things. And I found that really fascinating. And Severin Thompson and I had a lot of discussions about it. She plays Anne. Mm-hmm. And she's fantastic. I love Severin so much. And we talked more about love than anything else in those last 4 or 5 episodes. We were talking about the love we have for each other, the love we have for this new baby, the love we have for my brother, even though I need to eliminate him. So those were the themes we were talking about more.
I always wondered if I always wondered if Anne was, or I have been wondering if Anne was like legitimately all into this, or if she is sort of just trying to get what she wants. I mean, her daughter had to get it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I've always thought that Anne, I mean, I really feel like Anne and Peter have fallen in love. And to us, it's a beautiful thing. It's somewhat horrific, to view. I mean,
well, I mean, just if you can put aside her lineage, the only part that's awful about it is, the birthing room and the murdering. The rest of it actually has been incredibly sweet. I had to remind myself, they kind of just did that thing where they took a baby from I don't know, those people were screeching, and I kind of blocked it out of my memory.
Terrible place.
Yeah, don't go there.
It's all make-believe. I was on that set, and it's make-believe, and Guy Lalande, who is our set designer, did a beautiful job creating all the sets, and this one was just so horrific. And I've told this story a couple of times when we were down there shooting that scene in episode 10. We were between setups, and craft services came and brought snacks for everyone, for the crew. And I smelled food, and I really have a really strong positive association with food and a very positive physiological reaction to food all the time. I love to eat. But I smelled food, and I was just like, "Oh, what the hell is that?" Why am I smelling food now? And it just didn't make sense at all to me. And that was unsettling, to have a weird reaction to food. I don't like that.
That place would make you hungry. Yeah.
Not hungry at all. No.
No, but it's fantastically creepy.
Yeah, fantastically creepy. And I think the love between Peter and Anne is sweet. I really do. I think it's sweet. These two people found each other. You know, they started bonding a little bit down in the oubliette when they saw that they're kindred spirits a little bit. You know, they're always under the shadow and they're not able to achieve their full potential ever. They see that in each other, and I think it's kind of lovely. Yeah, and they've really found in each other people that actually listen to them, and you know, it's a powerful thing, I think.
Oh yeah, true. Especially, yeah, both of their characters have kind of been like off on the sidelines for a lot of the time. I like Anne a lot.
Yeah. She's a great character.
Not so much Amy.
Yeah, Amy's a
I love Amy.
Yeah, you love to hate her though, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I actually really like. I mean, she's evil, but I like that about her. Like, she's just unashamedly evil and selfish, and I dig that. I think.
And not dead. I mean, shouldn't die.
Not dead yet.
Yeah, she doesn't
look
going. Right.
I admire that, man. She just keeps on going.
Yes,
and where did Landry go? He had hold of Anne, and then he like ran off. See, now we're just gonna start. If we're not careful, we just start speculating about the show all the time.
I'll have to check my script. Where did Landry go?
Well, Yvonne, we'll get this one out of the way for you real quick. We want to know. Yeah, ask your question about.
Okay. I have to ask everyone this. Okay, who is responsible for the music on the show? Like, who does it?
Which music? The music choices of the songs or the scoring?
Music choices, the score, just everything about the music on this show is amazing and bizarre, and I don't know what's going on, but I love it. Yeah,
well, I think the music choices in terms of the songs, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, all these things. Stephen Welke is the sound. What is he? The sound editor. And Steve Maeda, who's the showrunner and the head writer. They're the guys who are responsible for all the final decisions on what music is going to be used. And Reinhold Heil, I think is Heil is his last name. Reinhold Heil. He's at Reinhold Heil at Reinhold Heil on Twitter. He's the composer. So any of the scores and that opening theme, Helix theme, is his. The song choices are Stephen Welke and Stephen Maeda, I'm pretty sure. And the scoring and any original compositions are Reinhold's. And I think it's brilliant, all of it.
Oh yeah. There've been a couple songs that, or there was at least one that was on this season. I think toward the end of an episode. It was a while back, earlier on in the season, that I tried to Shazam and my phone wouldn't find it, and I got so mad. Like, all it would give you is that it was from Helix. It wouldn't tell me like who the artist was or anything. Was
it the one in like in episode 5? I think when Peter's crawling up the wall, and it's a kind of lovely song, a young woman singing it.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
I think that's an original song, and that was actually our showrunner, Steve Maeda. His daughter, Haley, I'm not sure how to pronounce her first name, she sang it.
Oh, awesome. My friend and I were watching the episode together, and we were maddened that we could not figure out where the song was from. We both liked it so much.
Yeah. Well, we should try to petition Helix to release it. They should release a soundtrack, right?
Oh, they should. I would buy that.
Yeah.
I know. I live tweet every Friday, and everybody always talks about the music. Every single episode. Yeah, definitely.
Well, because it's either like super fitting or it's just jarring, and it's so jarring that it just sticks in your memory. Like, I mean, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, when they used that one, the scenes that it was being used for were very, not what you expect from that song, to put it lightly.
Yeah, it's a fun use of music.
There was another question on here that... Oh. Okay, I have to ask this one. Do you guys have any idea what's happening on the show, or are you as confused as we are? I mean, you know a little bit about the future of the show, obviously, like what's going to happen in the season finale, but when last season ended, for instance, did you know where they were going to go with this season, before? You had no idea?
I didn't. I don't know. It might be a different answer from Steve Maeda and the writers' room.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They may have had a bit more of an idea. But if they did, they only had broad strokes, right? That's sort of how writing television works. And the interesting thing about Helix, too, is it's all original, right? We're not following books. We're not following comic books. We're not following a graphic novel, where a lot of these shows kind of have guideposts and origin stories, and the whole mythology is kind of set up, and they can play within it, right? And they can take license, and Helix doesn't have that. They're creating the world as they go, and they react a lot to what I think at the beginning of the season they had a really good idea of the broad strokes of everything, where they wanted to take everything, how they were going to get there. They hadn't nailed down. They wanted to leave it open to see how the characters get along. Like what developed between Anne and Peter, I think just started happening when they kind of saw how Severn and I worked together, and that it might be an interesting thing to follow a little more closely, which makes it really exciting for us. But I know how things link up,
Okay.
Right.
And another interesting thing about Helix, I think it's a really great show for multiple viewing.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
1 hour, you're like, what just happened? And my wife does that. She's like, what? Yeah. Wait a minute, what's going on with that? Okay, well, here's the thing. If you think back to episode 4, this thing happened, and then that's connected to what just happened now. So there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I usually watch the episodes twice when I have to review them for that very reason.
Yeah, and also I think on Friday for the finale, I know a lot of things are going to be tied up. They didn't write this season with the idea of ending after season 2, so there's open. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know if we get another season, but there are definitely going to be unanswered questions that would be answered in subsequent seasons should we be so lucky. And I need to find some wood. There we go.
Yes.
Yes. No. I was gonna ask if there was any news of renewal, because to be honest, when I watched season 1, I remember it ending and thinking, and I hadn't heard anything that they were going to renew it, and then maybe a week later, one of my friends sent me a link, saying that season 2 is coming next year. Which is such a long time.
I know. Remember when television was like that?
See, I remember growing up when I grew up. The shows that I watched as a kid were, they started in September, took a Christmas break, and ended in May or early June. Now it's like they get 2 months on, 2 months off, 2 months on, 4 months off.
Yeah, they're all over the place. No, last year we only found out the day of the airing of our finale. Yeah. So
well, should we keep an eye on Twitter and whatnot in hopes that they announce it?
It'd be nice to know. I know there's a lot of people out there who would really love to know if we're going for a third. And there's a really cool campaign. The Renew Helix campaign on Twitter is going pretty strong, and I think it was trending pretty well last Friday.
Okay. Yeah, I actually saw you use that hashtag earlier, so we'll have to make sure to use it. I actually for once hope to watch it live this weekend. I don't think I have to work. Yay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of people DVR Helix.
Yes. Yeah.
Friday 10 o'clock can be a difficult time for a lot of people.
You need all your concentration to know what is going on.
You do. It's not the kind of show you can watch while you're making dinner, or folding laundry or something, you really have to pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about season 3, I guess last year at the Helix panel at Comic-Con, Stephen Maeda and Ron Moore said that they wanted to keep that same claustrophobic feel from season 1 and season 2, and that's why it was on an island. So we wanted to know where you think season 3 should take place if season 3 happens.
Yeah, this will all be speculation. I have no idea.
Of course.
Right. This is a wish list.
I would love it to take place in an urban environment. It would be really interesting to see it happen in an urban environment somehow. It's really, not likely because that is a logistical nightmare.
Oh yeah, all the people. You would need a lot of people.
Yeah, well, also, it takes us 5 months to shoot the season, and it's over 13 days. 13 days are represented in the timeline of the show, in the season. So, we ran into a lot of challenge. We were shooting outside of Montreal from the beginning of August until the end of December. I'm from Montreal. That's my hometown. You get 3 seasons in that 5 months. You go from middle of summer, it's hot, and everything's lush and green, and then you get the Cosby sweater leaves, and it's the multicolored landscape. And then there's no trees, no leaves on the trees, and then there's snow everywhere. So it was a real challenge, to match some of that up. We were shoveling. I wasn't shoveling snow, but our hard work.
Somebody had to.
We were shoveling snow, and we were shooting in minus. Sometimes we were outside in minus 20-degree weather.
That's insane. People shouldn't be able to live in weather like that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
right.
I'm from Connecticut. I know. I mean, it's not quite as cold there as Montreal, but I know cold. Taking your dog for a walk at 7 a.m. in January, not fun.
Why do I live here?
Yeah. I need warmth to live. It's almost winter and it's freezing.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Not freezing.
Not really.
It's spring here in Toronto, and actually freezing. It's below zero.
Well, can I just put my season 3 wish list location out there? I was thinking about this morning, and I would love, this obviously would never work for filming purposes on TV, but I really would love season 3 to be on International Space Station.
Space is so cool. Yeah.
The zero gravity thing probably wouldn't work, but yeah.
I want a submarine.
All I can think of is the Archer space station episode. I don't know if any of you watch Archer, but you should watch the Archer space station episode. It's really hilarious.
Okay.
That would be cool. That would be cool on a space station. I mean, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't really be that much more difficult than the Arctic. I mean, when you think about it, if they didn't, it's not like they would have to go outside all that much. But I'm not sure how they could develop a storyline.
Yeah, it might be tough. Hey, but it's Helix. We'll find a way.
Exactly. You have forever fetuses being carried around in jars.
Maybe the third Farragut brother is an astronaut.
He's an astronaut, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Have it all figured out.
What's his name? What's Peter's little brother's name? We have Alan, we have Peter,
Brian.
Thomas. Brian, okay, Brian Farragut. I like it.
Brian, yeah, that's
I
good.
like it too.
We're talking about names. So everyone in season 2 got a nickname. Has nicknames like Texas Hot Zone. What do you think Peter's nickname should be?
What should Peter's nickname be? He's already got a few, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Now he's Eli.
Yeah.
He was Vector King. He was Patient Zero. He's been a lot of things, so it's hard to nail it down. I'll think about that. Do you guys have any ideas?
I don't know. I think the nickname thing is kind of cheesy.
Oh.
I like Dr. Kyle to just be Dr. Kyle, okay?
I mean, nobody.
Hot Dr. Kyle is just redundant, right?
Yeah.
We all know
Yeah,
it's
there
hot.
you go.
Come on. I don't have to say it.
He has pretty eyes. Now I can think about those people.
I think that Kyle calling Sarah Hot Zone is kind of funny, even though it's funny.
Yeah,
These names are funny.
I like Hot Zone because she hates it. Sarah hates Hot Zone.
Exactly.
Peter, though, like on the show, Peter, like, you have to have a little bit of levity to be able to have people nickname you. Nothing really funny about and laid back about Peter.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
He's always
serious.
Like, he's so serious. He's always got way too much on his mind and in his DNA.
He could use some therapy, I feel like he really could use some therapy.
Yeah, oh boy.
Instead they let him head a CDC mission.
You know how it is. Hey, he'd been there. I mean, he had some pretty good experience.
True,
and they didn't know he killed all those people.
They did sort of come up with the cure, didn't they, eventually?
Yep. Yeah, they did.
So they did their job.
Peter never does any science. Look at the show. He never does any science.
No, he doesn't.
He looked in a microscope once and like, oh, what is that? Oh, yeah, okay.
He gets science done on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He lets Kyle and Sarah do all the science this year.
Well, last year he was too sick. Come on, you gotta give him that.
He was too busy, like, ruling over, like, the zombie horde or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right.
And I guess, like, another thing about names, and this is more a little bit, like, actually plot related. The baby, are we right in assuming he hasn't actually been named yet? Or they haven't, like, said his name? Okay. Honestly, I was just worried I missed that.
We've been a little busy to name our baby. Anne and I have been a little busy. We're going to have to cut us a little slack on naming that kid.
No, well, I think the baby is super important to you guys. Like, surely you would take the time to name it.
Maybe they're like wildlings on Game of Thrones. They don't name the baby for the first couple of years.
Maybe the baby needs to grow up and name itself.
It's an important thing. You can't make... I don't think Peter can make that decision in stressful times. And
yeah.
He's only known him for a couple of days.
That's true. You have to get to know him.
Yeah, let the name assert itself. I still have a cat who's 12 years old named Foster because I went to the SPCA and took care of a cat for 5 weeks. And I'll give her a temporary name because I'm bringing her back. That was 12 years ago, so I have a cat named Foster. So I can't name something too quick is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that's my dog Rigby. He's not here anymore, but he was sitting up here earlier. He was a foster who stayed with me, so he didn't have a name for the first couple weeks I had him.
There you go.
I did eventually change his name because he didn't look like a Thor to me.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see if the baby gets into Thor. We'll see if maybe the baby's Thor.
There you go.
That actually goes into a really good question because we at the Geekiary we like to talk about fandom a lot. So one of the things we like to speculate is show crossovers. If you could have your ideal show or film crossover with Helix, what would that be?
Hill Street Blues. That was one of my favorite shows. That'd be hard to crossover a show with Helix. Because I don't actually watch a lot of sci-fi. I love doing it, but I tend not to watch too much of it. I watch more, Justified and House of Cards and Homeland. Those are kind of my favorites these days. Hey, it would be interesting to cross over with Homeland.
I feel like that would work. Unfortunately, I think if you cross
good work with Helix,
chances are everyone's going to die from your favorite show.
I know. Yeah. Kill everyone.
You could probably cross it over with House of Cards. I mean, politics. That's all Ilaria really is.
Yeah, that would be an interesting. Yeah. So Frank defunds the CDC in order to appropriate the funding for something else, and
Yeah.
He's
Ilaria
immortal.
comes
We
down
should
on
have
him hard.
known. That,
You might be on the board of Ilaria.
Oh, is it him or is it his wife, though?
Yeah, I know, either one. They're both pieces of work, aren't they?
Did you guys have any more questions? I feel like.
Wait, there's another question from Twitter.
Oh, yes.
But Neil, you may not be allowed to say, or you may not know, but will Helix be at San Diego Comic-Con this year?
We don't know yet. We've not been told of anything. I think that if we get a third season, that we will likely be down there. I'd really love to. I had a blast last year. It was a lot of fun, and the panel was a really good time. It's a crazy city during that weekend, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been to San Diego not during Comic-Con, and it's an entirely different place, honestly.
Entirely different. Yeah. I really hope we do. Yeah. I really hope we get a third season for a lot of reasons. Primarily, I really want to find out what happens with these characters, because I find them pretty fascinating, all of them. And I'd love to go back down to Comic-Con if we do get that season. So, open. Renew Helix.
yeah.
Yes, Renew Helix.
Who are you tweeting at to renew Helix? Is sci-fi or?
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, sci-fi.
We'll just keep bothering them.
Hey, sci-fi.
Is there a petition yet?
Not yet. I haven't seen a petition yet.
We have to set up a petition.
Yeah.
We'd have nothing to talk about if we didn't have Helix. Like, it'd be a disaster for us.
Well, we throw in a little bit of Arrow and a little bit of Walking Dead and a little bit of Agent Carter, but it's just not as fun to rant about.
Yeah. There's always Helix is a crazy animal. There's always a lot.
I think last season I said something like in one of the reviews I wrote last season that was like, for every question that this show answers, it asks like 10 more.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's still 100 questions from last season that I don't have answered. So.
Yeah. We need more time to wrap these things in.
Or to just keep asking more questions. I honestly don't have I think after last season I forced myself to believe that the show would never actually like wrap up and answer all of these questions, and I am in a happy place with that. So I like it that way.
It's still fun to watch it all unfold, right?
Exactly. No, the show is a blast to watch. I mean, Erin and I got Yvonne to watch it, and I have been bugging the rest of my friends to catch on. So we'll see.
Yeah, I did a massive marathon and live tweeted the whole thing, and these girls just kept getting tweets from me like, "What the hell is going on?"
Oh yeah. Speaking of, what happened to those monkeys?
Yeah.
Which monkey?
The monkeys from last season, the field of frozen monkeys. Did it just disappear?
It burned.
It did totally burn?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Okay.
It was a field of screaming, burning monkeys.
Oh, poor monkeys.
Poor monkeys. Poor little monkeys.
For some reason, I thought that they were like far enough away from it that they didn't get it. But maybe I just need to rewatch season 1.
Well, Bioceros. Remember, Bioceros torched them all.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. I guess for some reason I thought that there were monkey survivors.
You just are in denial about the monkeys.
I probably am. I should go check. I'm going to go check didthedogdie.com or doesthedogdie.com and see if it mentions Helix.
What does the dog die? Never heard of that.
It's a web. I think it's doesthedogdie.com. It's a website that tells you whether or not animals die in movies and TV shows. Yeah, it does thedogdie.com.
Oh, so you can mentally prepare.
Yeah.
You did not watch that show because the dog dies. Kill as many people as you want. Don't kill the dog.
Or the horse, Walking Dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
or the monkeys, Helix.
Old Yeller.
or that blonde woman from the first season who I really liked, and they killed her off like a few episodes in. I hated that.
Doreen.
Doreen, thank you.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Catherine Lemieux, played Doreen.
Yeah, she was.
But I love that they come back, or at least they came back this season. You know?
Yeah, they made an effort to get some of those dead people back in. That was a nice little thing to do. Nice little treat.
Yeah.
So, dog guy, monkey guy?
I'm not seeing Helix on here at all, so...
You have to put it in there. Say the monkey die.
Yeah.
All the monkeys die.
Those monkeys died.
And what about who was it that died, or that we're not sure died? Julia's boyfriend. Why can't I remember his name?
Sergio.
Julia's boyfriend.
Sergio, yeah. Is he definitely dead? That's what we were talking about this.
Sure looks like it, doesn't it?
It does look like it.
I mean, anything is possible.
I guess I was kind of like, why would they bring him back and have him be Julia's new boyfriend or whatever, if for lack of a better term, if if he was just going to die sort of at Amy's hands of all people, or Landry and Amy, and sort of kind of just be gone. It's very sad.
Yeah, it was sad.
And he was a great character. I mean, he was just a good character last season too. So.
Yeah, I think it was it was hard to have Ballesteros in this season at all. I think it was a difficult thing for the writers to try to bring those, because his storyline at the end of season 1 really diverged from the kind of main storyline that was going on, right?
Right.
And,
yeah.
So I think they tried, and they managed to get him in a little bit anyway. I was happy for that. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. There will always be cats in front of my computer.
Crazy cat person.
All right. So I'm going to ask, can you tell us anything that is going to happen in the final? Something, just a hint.
Something weird will happen.
Yeah, well, okay.
That will happen. The Farragut brothers meet up again. They have a little conversation. So that's there. What else happens?
I have a feeling they're not going to talk about their issues, though. Like,
you think they're not going to talk through their issues?
No.
No, well, not yet. They can't, because there needs to be a season 3.
Season 3, I think, is going to happen. It's going to be sort of like The Sopranos, or Analyze This. It's going to be the brothers in therapy. Family therapy.
No.
Farragut. Yeah, Farragut family
I would
therapy.
watch a season of the Farragut brothers in therapy with their long third brother.
Brian.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, well, things didn't go very well in that pit. Yeah, Alan and Peter don't get along all that well. Well, Billy and Neil do, though, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, we had an awful lot of fun doing all that.
Yeah, honestly, the Helix, the characters are like individually, they're all great. There's a couple like I don't really like watching Alan and Sarah just to be completely honest. But I mean, as like individuals, the characters are all really great, and I think that's kind of one of the strengths of the show, is that they didn't. Maybe it's just because it's so crazy. I don't feel like they got lazy with their. I still don't feel like they got lazy with their writing of the characters. I'm interested in all of them individually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. That's I've always felt that about this show too. I feel that we have very. I think they're very relatable characters, because they're normal people, right? These aren't superheroes. They're normal people who are really. They make bad decisions. A lot of the time, they're not always making the right decision. You're like, and that's life is like that, right? We make ego-based decisions that don't work for us, and we make the wrong decisions based on incomplete information, or based on biases or prejudices that we have, and this is true. we are in extraordinary circumstances. Hard to wrap our minds around, but we're not special people. We're interesting, but in a lot of ways very normal. And what I find interesting, I'm a fan of the show too. I love watching it every week. Not so much my own stuff, but I love watching my friends' work. But the idea that what we're seeing these people try to cope with these extraordinary situations, and some of them are just not equipped. Like, I look at Peter, I'm like, well, he's not equipped to deal with half of the stuff that is happening. And so we make mistakes, we're jealous, I don't know, I like, that's one of the things that really does it for me, is the sort of the truth of these characters.
They're so
and it's not always pretty.
No.
Yeah.
It's, actually, speaking of not always pretty, if there's a season 3, do you think they will be able to outgross Narvik and what do they call this disease, the current one?
Mycosis.
Mycosis. Will they be able to outgross Narvik and Mycosis?
Yeah, mycosis with a C.
Mycosis. Sorry, mycosis.
Yeah, Kyle explained it to Alan at one point. It's, what is it? Something, and then for psychosis, it's like a hybrid of 2 words, and one of them is psychosis.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
See, it's too much. So much happens. So much happens.
So will they be able to outgross what they've already done? That's what I want to know. Especially this season. So icky.
See, I was very, very grateful this year when I saw what the mycosis looks like. Last year with Narvik, I mean, I was always in FX makeup, but it was very elegant, and it was very, like, I thought it was beautiful, and it was kind of comfortable to wear too, because it was all like transfers and these beautiful little prosthetics. And once it was on, it was easy to wear. But this year, it was like pustules, and it's really lumpy. Oh, I'm glad to do that this year. And I have absolute faith in the creators of Helix that they can outdo Mycosis and Narvik and up the ew factor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they definitely did this year.
I was so sad when Dr. Carl got the mycosis.
No, not that beautiful face. Not that face.
Vaughn just really loves Dr. Kyle.
Well, he's a great character. And Matt Long, who plays Kyle, he's a fantastic guy. He was a new addition to this year to the cast. You're always worried about, because last year we had a really nice, tight little family and everyone got along. You worry a little bit what the new blood is going to be like. And, he fit right in, and he's become a friend, and he's a super guy. I mean, that's, a difficult thing to hear. But he really is.
I was hoping he was terrible.
With those eyes, come on.
I know.
One of the things that I know that Vaughn and I have talked about in past webcasts about the character of Kyle is that he's very refreshing in this kind of horror or sci-fi genre, because he knows that there's crazy going on all around him, and he just wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah. He's a little bit of the audience, right? Because he's the one going like, guys, this is all really messed up, right? This is not right. Because all the rest of us are all totally embroiled in it. But we've also been, like, it's interesting because all these characters have been through it. Yeah. We've been through madness, so things like this is like, okay, how do we deal with this? And I love this week when he walks in on Sarah and she has Jar Baby there, and he's like, what the? When were you pregnant?
Well, yeah, I was questioning how that Jar Baby got so big when she was still like itty bitty, like looked like she was about a month pregnant, if that. But speaking of like the cast from last year versus the cast from this year, did you guys because Hataki, I'm sorry, off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of the actor who plays him.
Hiro Sanada.
Okay, and Miguel, is that how you pronounce Miguel? And I guess Julia's mother, I she was very like very briefly.
Played by Amber Goldfarb.
Did you guys see them at all? I mean, because I know that Kyra did. Obviously, she worked with them, but I mean, they were presumably filming in the same place. But you guys obviously didn't have any scenes together because all her stuff was far in the future. I just didn't know if you guys were gonna. I don't know. I guess they had to have shown up there sometime, and we haven't seen them pop up on the islands. And I'm kind of shocked about that. That there's been no interaction yet.
Yeah. Do you mean did we like just as a cast to see our old friend?
Yeah, like as cast or yeah.
Yeah, we went out to dinner and stuff, and we crossed over a couple of times. Yeah, because they were shooting off in a cabin kind of further in the woods, and at one point when they're on that lake, the cabin on the lake, they were shooting in a completely different part of town, so we didn't see them for that week. Yeah, but I saw Hero a few times because he and Kira rehearsed their fight scene, their sword and axe scene, for about a week. So they were on set rehearsing that. So saw them a little bit, not a lot. Hero was in for maybe 2 weeks total, and then he had to go. I think it was really hard he is a very busy man. He's got a few shows going on and movies, and we were pretty lucky to get him for a few episodes. Yeah, I think that's what happened there. There was some, it was tough to schedule it all in. And hey, buddy.
But they managed to schedule him being totally bonkers.
Yeah, wasn't it great though?
Yes.
My favorite part is when they go fishing.
I know.
Yeah.
He's like,
Totally absurd. I love it.
Yeah, I kind of thought that they couldn't get much creepier than all that happened with Hatake and Julia at the beginning and the flash forwards, but nope, they did. I'm pretty sure the birthinger beat that.
And a pretty creepy, sexy shower scene that is.
Yeah.
That was a pretty steamy scene.
Yeah, it
pretty
was.
Steamy and
and disturbing all the time.
And disturbing.
Yeah, it was interesting. All right, I loved it though. I thought it was really beautiful. I thought that whole scene made me think of it like a Renaissance painting. Just the shadows and the colors of it, and really muted tones. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah,
really
minus the blood. It was well done. And the murder flashbacks.
Yeah.
But the shower part of it I thought was really beautifully shot. I thought it really came out really nicely, and one thing about this show, like I was really happy that there was restraint in that shower scene in terms of it was telling the story of these two people and what that act was for them, and it wasn't about gratuitous showing of a sex scene, which is important.
They built up to it very well.
And it really shows where these people are at, and it was the yearning for connection and this strange bond that they have, and and a bit of Anne's manipulation and Peter's need and want, and I thought it was lovely. Yeah, and it was
good. It was very tender afterwards too.
Yeah. There's a lot of tenderness between Anne and Peter, and well, I'll call him Thor now, the baby.
Until further notice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, did you guys have any more? Did we have any more questions, or because I think we got through everything we had talked about.
Yeah. I don't think there are any more questions, but I know I have a lot of fun live tweeting every Friday with you, and I know the other cast, they're very active social media. We as fans love that, so thank you so much for interacting with us. It makes everything so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for us too. I know that Severn has just gotten a Twitter account to kind of be able to pipe in, and Sean Tucker, who plays Landry, and Alison Louder, they like to get on board. which is great, and it's great fun. It's really great to see the feedback and to be able to interact a little bit with fans who make the show, right? Because without people watching it, we don't have a show. You know?
Yeah, there are very, very passionate fans during the live tweets. I can say that.
Yeah, and hilarious. Some people are so funny.
Yeah.
I bust a gut live tweeting on Fridays sometimes. I'm always like to my wife, I'm like, oh my god, check this one out, it's hilarious. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can. There are some gems on Twitter.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's a fun thing, right? And it's such a new way to consume entertainment, for lack of a better phrase to use. But it's so new, you know. Like I remember, you know, when I was growing up, I can't imagine if I had been able to interact with, you know, Baker and Poncherelli on Chips or something like that, you know. I mean, I'm dating myself a little bit. Child of the 70s.
I'm actually glad that they didn't have Twitter when I was younger, because that would have been embarrassing. I feel bad for the the young fangirls.
Oh yeah. Glad they didn't have cell phones. Oh my god.
Yeah.
There are a couple of shoeboxes with really terrifying photos of me.
I imagine I would have gotten in trouble watching X-Files if I'd had Twitter in high school.
Yeah.
Mulder X. Yeah.
Mulder, take your shirt off, Mulder.
All right.
We really appreciate it too. You know, like it's really, you know, fans always express their appreciation for us live tweeting, but you know, we appreciate it too. It's an awful lot of fun, and it's very gratifying to see people's response to the work that you've, you know, spent 5 months of your life doing. So it's very gratifying. Yeah.
Well, we're super excited that you spend 5 months of your life making this bizarre show that ruins our lives.
Yeah. I need to get a real job.
No, Helix is as real as it needs to be, okay?
Yeah. Well, you know, I hope we get to do it again this year, because I'd love to see all my friends again. I'd love to revisit all these characters and see where Peter and all the Helix crazies end up. So.
And Forever Fetus.
And Forever Fetus, yeah.
Forever Fetus.
Oh, char babies. Only Helix. All right. Well, Yvonne, if we're ready to wrap this up, I'll give our little outro. And
okay.
All right. Well, I'm Tara, along with Yvonne and Erin of the Geekiary, and Neil Napier, who plays Dr. Peter Ferry on Helix. And we thank you again for joining us for this special episode of Feelings with the Geekiary. We're a free webcast run off donations from viewers like you. So thanks for contributing and helping our host site, the Geekiary, and we will see you at the end of April.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.